Sassy Eliot. Hey. Sassy Eliot.
Girl. It's the WIP Afternoon Show.
We didn't have that for Dan Popper.
Yep, with Ike, Spike, and Fritz. Joining us from Los Angeles, he's out there with fans of Philly covering the game. That is one Eliot Shorr-Parks, a.k.a. Sassy Eliot. What's up, Eliot?
Where you at on Rodeo Drive? Where you at, E?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sunny out here. I got my linen on, getting ready to go to the stadium. So life is good. Is that just my new song now? Is that the new one? No more Elliot's on the phone. No more pants are tight. Just Sassy Eliot.
I love the Sassy Eliot.
You don't like Sassy Eliot, do you?
Well, I can just hear it now, because a lot of people do yell at me about the other songs. I can't wait to be walking up to the game and everyone yelling like, "Hey!"
The best part, I said this last time.
I actually love it.
I love it. The best part is it wasn't Eliot. It was a AI Eliot, but now he is going to become Sassy Eliot.
Can you imagine Eagles pregame? They pan to everyone on the stage, right? And they finally get to Eliot, and the whole crowd goes, "Hey!" Come on, man.
I mean, I guess it could be worse if the whole crowd's going to yell something at me.
Yeah. So Eliot is out there. I imagine, Eliot, given what it's usually like at SoFi with visiting fans, there will be a monster Eagles fan presence out there.
Yeah, just being here as long as I have been, being out today, and I imagine when I get to the stadium, it'll be the same thing. Just Eagles fans everywhere. Like, the hotel lobby, tons of Eagles fans. And it's really every time I come here, it's mostly Eagles fans. And I know, look, they're not going to play the Chargers in the playoffs, but it's another reminder that if they do have to go to L.A. to play the Rams in the playoffs, I actually think they're better off playing that game in L.A. than they would be in Philly. So, that's one thing to keep in mind when you look at the playoffs.
Well, you know why they wouldn't be? It's a funny take. It's a funny take. Is that the Rams' offense?
I think it's the correct take.
Well, but the Rams' offense runs best in good.
Yeah.
Why
wouldn't you want that offense here?
Yeah.
Well, Matt Stafford threw for almost 400 yards in the snow last year.
Well, because he's good, but I'm sure.
Right, but I guess the point I'm making is I think in L.A., where they would likely be an underdog, they wouldn't have to deal with the pressure of playing at home. There'd be a lot of Eagles fans there anyway. And in an environment where football is meant to be played, where they could just be themselves and not have to worry about weather, I think they'd have a better chance to win the game there.
All right. This segment's sponsored by NJM Insurance. One thing I wanted to ask you, there was a tweet from Lane Johnson earlier with the eyes emoji. Now, I don't know what the rules are. Could Lane Johnson play tonight? Was that about that, or do you think it was about something else?
No, I think it's about next week.
Okay.
Lane could play tonight. Like, he is allowed. He's not on no, he's already been ruled out.
So
never mind. He can't play.
All right.
He can't play. But he's not on IR. So I think I think he'll play next week is what that's saying.
And then from an injury standpoint, Landon Dickerson, we knew, didn't practice on Friday. It was because of rest. Is Landon Dickerson okay for tonight, do you imagine?
Yeah, he'll play tonight. Now, is he okay? I think he all year has been dealing with different things. But I will say, after having a rocky first month of the season, I do think he has played better. Over the past 5 or 6 games, he's playing more frequently. He's playing all the snaps. He's not in and out of games. So, I don't think anyone on the offensive line is 100%, but I expect Landon to play tonight. And I actually think the offensive line, for as much as we use them as a reason the offense is struggling, I think as pass protectors, they have improved over the past month or so.
So the top line we asked about tonight, we're all style points guys at some time except for Ike. But tonight is not a style points game. Tonight's just go in there and save the season. And we all agree it's a must-win game. The question is, do they have it in them? And based on what we saw against the Bears, it's hard to have a lot of faith. What do you think is in them tonight? Forget about the actual execution and how much they score, all that stuff. Do you think they have it in them to go in there, win this game, and sort of get their season back on track tonight?
I do. I do think they have it in them to go out and play a good game tonight. Being down all week at the NovaCare, I do sense that vibes are high. Now, look, I've sensed that throughout the season, and they've not performed on Sunday. So I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all. But I just mean you don't sense being down there that, they're worried about the game or that they know they're not playing well in, a worrisome way. I think that vibes are high in the locker room. When you watch them out at practice, they're loose. So I think they feel good going into the game for sure. Now, the question is, like, will they actually show up on Monday night and do it? I think they will, coming off of an extended break. The last time they've had extended breaks, I think they're 2-0 when they have extra time. So I think that'll help them, and I do think they'll play a good game tonight.
What do you make of the Tim McManus report that Nick Sirianni had a larger presence during offensive meetings?
So my biggest takeaway from it was it's just a reminder that as much as it makes people feel better to, like, blame Kevin Patullo, that ultimately this is a Nick Sirianni product out on the field. That it is his responsibility to make sure the offense is better. It's his responsibility to make sure that the penalties don't happen, that it's a cleaner product. Like, obviously on the field, it's on Jalen. He's the quarterback. He has the most to do with how the game is played. But yeah, I think that Sirianni knows the offense is not performing at a high level. He is the head coach. He's an offensive head coach. So it doesn't surprise me that he is maybe taking more time in meetings than he used to. I don't view it as like the first step towards Patullo being out. But I just think it's a reminder, like, yeah, it's fun to blame Patullo for some people because it makes you feel better about Nick and Jalen. But, like, ultimately, it is a Nick Sirianni product, and it is a Jalen Hurts offense.
Yeah, but is it a better product because Nick Sirianni is more involved, or will it be a better product because he's more involved?
I don't think there'll be any difference. Like, I think Nick's super involved all the time. You know, I think, like, it is a Nick – like, the way I view this is it is a offense built by Nick Sirianni for Jalen Hurts that Jalen Hurts has a lot of control in. And Kevin Patullo is just in the middle there. Like, he picks the plays. He has, like, his say. But ultimately, they build this offense for Jalen Hurts' skill sets, and then they do it from what Nick Sirianni wants to do from a big picture standpoint. So if Nick's being more involved, I actually don't think that means, like, schematic changes or things like that. I think it's just an emphasis from Nick to the offensive players about how they need to be better.
So to me, what is the biggest difference with Jalen as far as execution? Like, he's the same quarterback for the most part from a physical standpoint that he's been the entire time that he's been here. They know him very well. They've coached him longer than anyone else. They didn't draft him, but they've coached him 5 years of the 6 years that he's been in the NFL, and they've seen heights with him. And I understand the heights in the 2 years that they happened may have been under different circumstances, but Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore, two established play callers, have been able to get a lot out of Jalen Hurts in the offense. And when you have an inexperienced guy there, whether it's Nick Sirianni, who's more influential or not, and maybe this is that Nick needs a true right-hand man there, right? To where that guy is controlling everything. I'm just wondering how they haven't been able to figure out a way to put an effective offense around Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so I think it's a bunch of different things off that. One, and you said it in there, but I do think it's important to note, like, Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore had very different jobs than Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo. Like, they were coming off seasons where the team didn't even win a playoff game, right? So the expectation, well, not so much expectation, but, like, the pressure, how much teams, you know, like how teams played them was different than what Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo have seen, in my opinion. Like, they're coming off Super Bowl season. So I think the job is different. Now, in terms of this season, what I think a difference has been, one, I don't think Jalen's accuracy has been very good this year. I do think, like, coming into this year, at least prior to training camp, like, I thought Jalen was a very accurate quarterback and has been a very accurate quarterback. I think this year his accuracy has not been as good. I don't think he's dealt with pressure well this year, and when they're allowing more pressure, like last year, they were a very, very good pass-blocking offensive line. I think they've improved as the year has gone on, and I think over the past few games they've been pretty good at it, but I still don't think he's dealt with pressure well this year. So those would be from a Jalen component as to why I think things are different. And then in terms of Patullo, Sirianni, the offensive coordinator, I mean, one thing I do think is absolutely fair to put on them is, like, the sloppiness. Now, I know that it is the player's job. Like, it's not like they're not coaching them to not jump off sides. Like, A.J. Brown has the most penalties on the offense. He's a veteran Pro Bowl, all-pro player. So, like, he knows what to do. He's being coached what to do. He's just messing up. But ultimately, that is on them. So I think with an inexperienced coordinator, there is a sloppiness that you would see with an inexperienced guy.
Okay.
Oh, did you have another? So what did you make of Saquon Barkley this weekend when he was in his availability after practice? Mentioned that the energy on their sidelines this season has, I think it was his words, has sucked all season long. He said
it's been awful.
It's been awful. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing. Yeah, just as bad. What did you make of that?
So, I mean, I guess it's not surprising in the way that the offense has, to use that word again, like has been awful and has sucked all year. Like, I can't imagine it's fun to be on the offensive side of the ball in these games. Most weeks they're struggling. There's penalties. They're making mistakes that, all week they try not to make. So it's not surprising to me that it's not a fun experience. But I would say, like, it is on guys like Saquon, like Jalen Hurts, like Nick Sirianni, like Jordan Mailata for the offensive line, to make sure that mood does not dip. So, 14 games or 14 weeks into the season, for it to still be like that, while I understand the human emotion of it, of if you're like struggling in the biggest part of your job and it's not going, like, I get the human emotion of it. It can't be like we lean on the culture and then when things are struggling, everyone's like, yeah, it's awful down there. So I think that falls on the leaders of the team to make that better. And that is one thing I'll be looking for tonight. Like, how active are they on the sideline? Like, Saquon acknowledged that on game day, it's not good. During the week, it's good. During game day, it's not. Well, it's on him. Like, we all saw the Super Bowl highlights last year. We've seen behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, he can be a vocal leader on the sideline. So that's definitely one thing to watch tonight, is just what is that sideline like and who is up and who is trying to get the sideline, if they're struggling, not to be awful.
And I know he didn't specify this, but I think it's okay to surmise this is primarily the offense.
Oh,
like, I don't hear this about the deep. You know what I'm saying? We say the sideline. I don't hear this about the defense. The defense seemingly, even when they haven't played well, I don't hear finger pointing. I don't see disruption over there on the sideline. They genuinely play for each other. When they struggle, they're there to uplift each other. And when they have success, they're there to pass the praise on to someone else. This is the offensive side of the football. And this is where I wonder, E.
Yeah, good.
The star power is on that side of the football. I wonder if the Eagles are going to have to really look at this thing this offseason. And while they may like having that over there, managing those personalities isn't easy to do, and I think it weighs over the team. It weighs over the team. Those where the fingers are being pointed at, that's when the questions are coming out. That's where guys are unhappy at, this and that and the other. And then the other side of the ball has to carry that weight because the offense isn't carrying their weight. Like, they're not even carrying their weight from a leadership standpoint.
Yeah.
From a leadership standpoint, they aren't carrying their weight the way they should.
Yeah, so first I would say I think a difference between the offensive and defensive side of the ball right now is on the offensive side of the ball, the guys that want the ball, need the ball, they can't control if they get the ball. Like, Quinyon is a Pro Bowl talent. Quinyon's playing out there every snap. The defensive linemen are playing, their normal snap allotment. Zach Vaughn's playing every snap. So, they just have more control over how the game is going for them.
But they aren't complaining about the secondary play. The defensive line the secondary isn't complaining about not getting sacks up front, getting pressure on the quarterback. That's what I'm talking about, playing together as a unit.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the other thing about the sideline, and you could speak to this better than me, but, it is almost two different sidelines. Like, the defense is one part of that sideline, and the offense is the other side, right? So, on the defensive side, I can just see it from the press box. Like, guys are talking. Like, it's not as, they all sit in their own specific spots, but
they all,
sounds, they're sitting close together. Like, Jalen sits on one bench all the way off to the side and just, sits there with, whether it be Patullo, Tanner McKee, and there's I don't know, maybe 15, 20 feet, and then there's AJ and Devontae. And for as much as we talk about AJ is quiet on the sideline. Like, he just sits there. He is not like a get up, walk around.
Yeah, why?
Well, no, I'm agreeing with you. I think that's why the mood is not great. And then
I'm wondering why he's quiet on the sideline when you can. That's your time to be a leader in the moment instead of being over there reading a book or pouting or this and that and the other. How about uplift some guys over there?
So I agree with you. I'm saying I think Jalen and AJ's personality on the sideline is not vocal. Like they're not vocal people on the sideline. And then the offensive line, who I do think does have big personalities, they're off in their own world, also on a bench all the way far to the left with Stoutland like going over corrections and stuff like that. So they can't even really do like the rah-rah stuff and walk up and down. So I do think it is personality driven somewhat from the skill players, that they're just not. They're not rah-rah guys. They're not get up and, lead a big huddle. Saquon can be that. We've seen him be that.
He's trying to. Yeah, he's trying to.
Awful.
You know what? Somebody's gotta. Like, I know it was just one clip. I see Dak Prescott just firing everyone up on the sidelines when they're down 21-0. Like, someone open your mouth before the friggin' season ends up in a disaster. It's like, even
and before
fake
you get in
it.
front of a camera complaining about it in the locker room.
Well,
fake it. I don't care. Wake up. Somebody wake up. It just seems, they seem so dead to me, man.
So I think that's Saquon. I think that's the person to do it. He's done it before. He has the clout in that locker room to do it. I think all of a sudden if AJ did it or Jalen did it, now maybe players would like it because it's like, okay, look at the emotion they're showing.
Yeah.
But it also would be out of character, right? Like it's not what they normally do. The other person I would point to is Nick Sirianni. Like he is, if you're not going to be calling plays, and I know you're still doing stuff, managing the game, all that, but like
that's a fair point.
You're the one that does have the time to go and hype up the players and have a read. His whole thing is emotional intelligence. So I think this all begins with them just playing well, right? I think they try all week. They're like, all right, we're going to come out, we're going to be clean, we're going to do all this. And then AJ has a false start on the second snap of the game, and it's like, here we go again, right? So I think part of it is about execution. And then if they're not executing, though, somebody has to make sure they don't dip into a funk.
Yeah, because here's my thing, E. Listen, ideally, you want everything to go well, but that's not how it works throughout the course of the game. The other side wants everything to go well on their side as well, meaning the other team. So there's going to be moments in games where you have to battle back. I'm looking at Houston and Kansas City last night. Houston goes up 10-0. Kansas City fights back to get in the game. They're tied at 10-10. Houston's on the road, on the ropes. They're fighting for their playoff lives, and look how they finished the game. Right? So I only say that to say you're not going to get a perfect game where everything goes your way. And something dawned on me when you were talking and you're talking about Saquon. I wonder if Saquon, when he says what he said, is there frustration there with him that he's the only one
that'll do it?
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because he also said if everyone's being honest. Right.
Yeah.
So it was almost like everyone needs to acknowledge it. Now, and what's crazy is to what you were just saying too, like they are a sideline that has been in tough battles and has battled through it. Like as a unit.
Yep.
I mean, they just won the Super Bowl last year, and on the way to the Super Bowl, it was not all smooth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like now we view that season as dominant, but there were plenty of games where the passing game wasn't good, or like they were, the Baltimore game is a tough game, right? Like they have battled through it. I think the root of all this is last year they weren't making as many mistakes, and that is a similarity to 2023. There is a feeling of how have we not fixed this yet? And when all week you feel good about the preparation and you practice good, and you're like, here we go, right? And then the second play of the game, you get a penalty. I just think it's you so quickly remember how frustrating the season has been. But that's where they need to be better, for sure.
So, Eliot, final thing we have to ask you about is, of course, about the Positivity Bunny.
Was that your idea?
No, I do love it, but it was not my idea.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Of course.
So you tweeted that you think it is a message to the media for them to be positive?
So I think it was a couple things. One, I do think it was like partially about that they don't like when the media comes in the locker room, right? Like we could do a whole show about that.
Yeah, they don't like when they're playing bad when the media comes in the locker room.
Yes. So right. So I do think there was probably a little bit of a message of, hey, things aren't as bad as maybe you guys make it seem. But that was a small part of it.
Okay.
I do think the larger thing is just trying to, like a positive, it's just like get a positive message going. And here's why I like it compared to it seems like other people. Because in 2023, when that season was sinking, I didn't see no positivity rabbit show up in that locker room, right? Like they towards the end of the season, I know they did like what's the thing called where you like lock yourself in something, you have to find your way out?
Escape room. Yeah, that was awesome.
Went and did an escape room, and they tried different things like that. But if they feel there is a problem and this is maybe like their attempt at fixing it, I like it. And I also think it can be a dumb thing for them to rally behind, like the underdog mask in 2017, right? Like the turnover mask that they did in 2018 on the sideline. I think sometimes something stupid like that can really just like bring everyone together. And if they win tonight, that rabbit is like going to the Super Bowl.
But
like,
you do know.
You said that rabbit's going to the Super Bowl.
You do know, though.
Have a rabbit
you do know, though. They didn't put on the underdog mask when Carson got hurt. They put on the underdog mask when they were playing well. Like they didn't put on the turnover masks or whatever when they weren't getting turnovers to help them get turnovers. It was because they were getting turnovers, like they were robbing people. That's what they were doing. This is not that. Like maybe they'll win
I
tonight.
don't know if it's not that.
Well, but
I think it's an attempt to fix something. Or
yes, but that's not what those were. But that's not what those were. Those were a representative of the identity of who they were. This is a representative of the identity of who they're trying to be. And the reason that people look at this as a Hail Mary and sort of like fraudulent and skeptical of it, which I understand, is that like if you need to bring the bunny in to make everybody happy, then there's a bigger problem. This is different than the underdog mask, and it's different than the robber mask in that was a reflection of who they were, not who they were trying to be.
So I think with the underdog masks, it was a reflection of like you all thought we were underdogs and we're not. Like we are not underdogs, right? Like we're better than that. I think with the positivity rabbit, which I kind of thought we were going to go positivity bunny, but regardless, positivity rabbit. I think there is also part of it. Again, this is what I was talking about with the outside world. Like maybe don't use the word media, but in terms of like the fans and the media, I don't think they view it as bad in the building as we do on the outside. Like we've spent a lot of this conversation talking about the sideline thing, and that is a real thing. Like Saquon talked about, right? Like, do they have the fight in them to show up? I think in the building, they don't view it as negative. So the reason I correlate it to the underdog mask thing is because the underdog mask was also a message to everybody else, right? Like you were wrong about us. And I think the positivity rabbit is not that level of message, but I do think there is some part of it that is saying like, hey, everyone thinks, the sky's falling on the outside. Everybody thinks we're going to collapse. Everybody thinks, AJ, like whatever, right? And I think the rabbit does symbolize to a degree a reminder of like, it is not as bad as people are making it out to be.
Well, Saquon said it was pretty bad. So
Saquon said on the sideline, and I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, Elliot.
Do you think that A.J. Dillon was the right person to deliver that message, or maybe someone who?
As much as I'm in on the positivity rabbit, I don't love the fact that it was A.J. Dillon. Like I would have preferred if.
No offense to A.J. Dillon, of course.
Well,
you'd prefer it was somebody who's playing football.
Yeah. Well, like just like a team captain, because now whether you like it, don't like it, whatever. That positivity rabbit is going to be all over ESPN tonight. If they lose, it's going to get mocked relentlessly. Like it is now something people are attaching to this team. So it could be a positive, and I think it will. But like if it's not, then we're going to always remember that rabbit.
And it's not worth it. It makes us look soft, man. Nobody wants a rabbit representing us.
Well, I'm not a big Easter guy, so I don't disagree with you on the symbol itself. I'm just saying I get the logic behind trying it.
It's not even a fierce rabbit either. No. It's just a damn bunny rabbit.
Just an Easter bunny.
Yeah, it's an Easter bunny.
Yeah. All right.
Again, when we're all in Santa Clara at the Super Bowl having that positivity rabbit on Radio Row, it'll be very different.
So you know what I thought about when I saw the rabbit? It took me 5 minutes to get to Fatal Attraction. If you don't know what I'm talking
the boil the rabbit.
I didn't want you to say it.
Well, the movie's 40 years old. I'm not spoiling anything, but yeah. Yes. All right, Elliot. You can get the Go Birds podcast wherever you get your podcasts. There'll be one tonight, and then there's one every single day. Elliot, thank you as always.
All righty.
Yep.
There he is, Eliot Shorr-Parks.
Out in Los Angeles.